advertised this morning, and everybody's there. I just hope they all stay there.
And obviously we have to watch the battle between Serge and Etienne. That's the championship battle.
Etienne's lagging a bit. He's like, I think 25 odd seconds behind Serge, so he's got it all to do this morning. And I think from Serge's point of view, he just has to finish ahead of him to make the next rally a bit safer. But, you know, Etienne, very quick last night on the tarmac. Very exciting, beat Habig twice in a row on the same stage. So I think he's going to have a full go as well.
The first stage of day 2 would see another unique happening. Damso, Kuhn, Habig and Rueda all set identical fastest stage times over the 16.3-kilometer test. Berger was 9 seconds slower, allowing Damso to move into third. Class N3 leader Vulcan put his track experience to good use to set some impressive times at Killarney. He was once again fully committed on the dirt. Richard Bem and Grant Sinclair were almost a minute ahead of the Class N2 opposition at the end of the first day in their Palbin Toyota Corolla. They had blitzed the long first stage of the rally, setting them up perfectly to control their lead from the front. Trott and Snyman were comfortably leading Class A6. They had already wrapped up the class title for the year and could push as hard as they wanted, knowing they had nothing to lose.
We've seen this year that Etienne A7 cars taken the fight to the Class A8 cars. Now the Rally Commission's put forward a proposal to limit their performance. What's your opinion on that?
You know, the whole rule situation, I think, is quite ludicrous at this point in time. Because we've had a situation over the years where the manufacturers involved have sort of made the rules. Now they've been weeded down to 2, Volkswagen and Toyota, representing 3 cars, and they're still calling the shots, which is quite ridiculous. You know, the Rally Commission doesn't seem to have any teeth. They're just rubber stamping whatever the 2 manufacturers decide. And really the whole essence of a rally is around privateers. And certainly if you look at the top order at the moment, 3 privateer cars in the top 3 or top 4, and yet they're being told what to do. And now if we look at the new proposals where they want to limit the N7s, that could only really come from William Haddad from Toyota. And in his case, he probably doesn't want the old car to beat the new car.
According to what I understand from people that I've spoken to, the whole idea is to bring the whole Class A7 class closer to each other. But protecting 3 A8 cars in front doesn't make any sense to me.
I think that is exactly what you just said is exactly what it's all about, trying to protect the 3 A8 cars in front, and I agree with you, it's absolute nonsense.
I think rather than restricting Class A7, they should build better Class A8 cars.
Well, being the competitor's representative, I obviously must look after the interest of the competitors, and it's not only the manufacturer teams that are involved in A7. I think we need to find a sort of a middle way where we keep the manufacturers happy as well as the privateers. I mean, this rule changes is definitely to the negative in terms of the privateers. I think the biggest problem is that the A8 class should have moved forward and not making rules to pull the A7s back. I think that's the main drive behind the lot.
But ideally, from where we are, and certainly from a public spectacle point of view, I think it's preferable to have the A7s up there, and at least you can have a few more cars that come in the rally, and now we're trying to stop that.
Yeah, well, I think the idea is to go faster. I mean, not to make rules to let the Oaks go slower. And with the tyre restrictions and all those sort of things that they want to impose for next year, I just think it's to the detriment of the privateers. So my feeling at this point in time is we need to go and sit down with the Commission again and see if we can't speak to them and maybe get some leeway in terms of a sensible rule for A7.
I think rallying is at an all-time high as far as public interest is concerned. But we need to have the formula to go with it, to have more cars at the top, more drivers fighting for the overall lead instead of classes lower down and trying to eliminate people that actually challenge the works cars.
Overnight, Rueda and Aries were first on the road on day 2. Going into stage 6, they held an 11-second lead over Gemmell, with Damso a further 3 seconds in arrears. With Berger and Kuhn another 6 and 9 seconds back respectively, it was extremely close at the head of the field, with any one of the 5 capable of taking victory. Rueda had driven well all year and continues to improve with each event. There's no doubt that his forays into Africa have helped lift his driving and confidence to new highs. The experience he has gained means he's becoming an ever more serious threat to the established frontrunners with each event. Gemmell has also enjoyed rallying in Africa and is the current champion. He's also an established winner on the local scene, having won 2 events outright. He was now well poised to challenge for his first local win since 2001. He would be quickest of the 4-wheel drive cars with the 3rd fastest stage time. We drive with Berger as he tackled stage 6. Berger is another driver to have competed in Africa. In fact, he was the first South African to take the title in 2001 before he switched back to the local championship. Having built a brand new Subaru for this season, the veteran had put in some superb performances and given the works cars a run for their money. He was 3rd in the overall championship and leading Class N4 going into this event. With Rueda his closest class challenger, it was a no-holds-barred battle between the two for championship honours, as it had been for most of the season. He was not hanging about in this stage, but Rueda would clip him by a single second. Always fiercely competitive, Damso was not about to settle for anything less than a win, no matter where Lawrence was. Just watch how totally committed he was down the hill and through the splash. The fans loved it, and it would pay off with the fastest stage time and the overall lead of the rally for the first time. He was a huge 14 seconds quicker than the next man. Kuhn was still pushing as hard as he could and would be second quickest through the stage, moving him 2 seconds ahead of Berger for 4th overall. Likewise, Habich was hard at it, spraying the spectators with mud and stones. Lawrence looked fast and spectacular, but the times were not there, and he was coming under serious pressure for the class lead from Damso Jr. JP had moved 1 second ahead on stage 5, but Lawrence fought back on this stage to win by 2 seconds, regaining a 1-second lead. It could not be any closer. This was by far Damso's best performance of the year, and it could be a portent of things to come in future. Ryan was back in the hunt for honours, running comfortably in the top 10 throughout the event. But Buerter was still well off the pace of the front-runners, perhaps as a result of trying too hard. Note the damage to the rear of the Subaru. The route was lined with fans, craning their necks for a better view of the cars. Sadly, Rueda's good run had come to an end against a concrete post. The Mitsubishi was seriously crippled, having its rear wheel at 45 degrees to the chassis. He tried in vain to get the car to the end of the stage, but it would not go any further without enlisting the help of the crowd. It was a miserable end to the event for the likeable Cape Townian, as he was still in with a chance of snatching his first local win. He could only watch with huge disappointment as rival Gemmell passed the stricken Mitsubishi.
Just give us a quick rundown of what happened.
We just came out on a left-hander and it was just, we ran out of road. It was much more sleepy than I thought. So we hit a pole and it took the rear wheel off. So that's it. Oh, yeah.
Skin of the doors is still lying down there.
Yeah.
Gemmell had chosen wet weather tyres for the stage, and it proved to be an inspired choice. He set a blistering pace, taking 24 seconds off second fastest Damso to snatch back the lead. With an 11-second advantage, the stage was set for a fantastic fight to the finish. Stage 7 was also a poor one for Berger. His Subaru's gearbox stuck in third gear, costing him about 2 minutes and dropping him out of the lead battle. From the in-car camera on Damso's car, it was obvious how wet the road was and why those on dry tyres, including Damso, lost so much time. Enjoy his commitment through the stage, though. Considering that the Rundeck says front-wheel drive and that it was on dry tyres, Damso's performance on the stage was phenomenal. The fact that he lost 3/4 of a second per kilometre to Gemmell over the 32 kilometres, while his two-wheel drive rivals all lost more than a second, highlights how well he drove the stage.
So just quite a tough fight up at the head of field, but your stage 7 didn't go quite according to plan.
Well, there was no ways we had any hope in that stage. The condition of the, it was very muddy. We had dries on. We can't take a chance with wets, 32 Ks, so a four-wheel drive should win hands down on that stage.
What's the overall position now?
Not too sure. You're asking the wrong person, I think.
Enzo, you had a good night last night, made up a few seconds. It was all pretty tight this morning. How's it going today?
I think this stage just determined the rally winner. It was very wet and slippery, very tricky. Certainly lots of places to go off. And I think the Toyota still got the legs on us. We're really just comparing ourselves to him. But Johnny Gemmell did well in this stage. Brilliant drive, and I think this will award him the rally if he sticks to the road now. It was wet and tricky, and he was on the right tyres, and he did a good job, so that's him.
Johnny, you've been right at the front all rally, but stage 7 seems to possibly have been the one that will clinch the event for you.
Yeah, it looked good, that one. Just before we started, we saw a lot of rain clouds, so we were hoping it had rained, and when halfway through it did rain, or it had rained, and it was quite slippery, and we knew we could make some time up. And maybe just after that, we didn't see Fernando's tracks in front of us, and he had gone off somewhere. We didn't see where. So, no, we were quite happy, eh? Yeah.
Tell me, a lot of the guys said they were on wrong tyres. Were you on dries or wets?
No, we took wets on that one. Just took a bit of a gamble, and it turned out good for us.
Sorrel, the drivers have been talking about wrong tyre choices now in stage 7, wet, dry tyres. Just explain to us the difference. We've got samples here.
Okay, this is a dry tyre on the side. You'll see it's quite a bit wider than the wet one. The reason is on a dry stage, the tyres build up a lot of heat, so there's bigger tread area, bigger contact area, more grip, and more dissipation of heat. On the other hand, we have the wet tyre, which is a lot narrower, and if you have mud and stuff, it sort of bites through the mud and gets to the hard surface at the bottom. So where this thing would in mud, like you sometimes find on tar roads, you get aquaplaning in wet weather. In mud, a wide tire like this will also to some extent aquaplane on the mud, and the narrower one will bite through. And this of course is very important under braking, in corner speed, and of course acceleration on the other side. So a stage like we just had, which was very wet, the difference between a wet and a dry tire could easily be 25-30 seconds. And that's what they're all about, but it's basically in the width where it can bite through, and with dry tires, heat dissipation, more contact area, but in the wet you don't want to be contact because it floats in the mud.
JP, this is a home event for you, but nevertheless you're driving the pants off your car and you're leading Class A7.
Yeah, we've been going well so far. This last one was a bit hairy, it was a little bit wetter, and we were with a drier tyre. But we still managed to take some time off in the class. And yeah, we've got a slight lead now. But still, we don't use these roads very often, so we can't say it's our backyard. So we'll see how it goes the next 2-3 stages.
With rain spread out in isolated